The average conversion rate for marketing is 2 to 5%. That's what the statistics say. But that's not telling the whole story. And that's why we have Andriy here today, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself, why this matters to him, and why it should matter to you. Andriy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Andriy. I'm originally from Ukraine and husband, father of two beautiful girls. Currently live for the last 20 years live in New York City, and I'm the founder of email marketing agency called Flowium. And you asked me about why it matters to me, the conversion.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is how businesses make money. But question back to you, what kind of conversions are you talking about? Is it like from web visit to sales or web visit to email subscriber or something else? Because
This,
what I
yes.
found in the industry and in general, not in the industry, but when we talk to either to a client or somebody who owns a business, everybody shout out about like big conversions, but the conversion means different thing for different people.
Exactly. See, this is perfect. This is why Andriy's here, because when I say that that's the conversion rate, I say that because that's what you're all going to read. You're going to Google today. You're going to go, what is the conversion rate? What should I be aiming for? And this is an important way to think critically about how you're showing up, how you're marketing, and how you're tracking your ROIs. Because
Uh,
conversion is just that. Is it sales? Is it click rate? Are people reading your blogs? Let's talk a little bit more about that.
sure, like last month, we were bidding on a big project, and I was checking not even their sales, but what I noticed that they have a very low review submission. So after somebody purchase a product, we asking people to leave a review about either about the company or about the product. And I noticed they have very few reviews for such a big company with such a great product. They have very few reviews. But at that moment, like months ago, I didn't know what the kind of conversion between people buying and people leaving the reviews, and they had close to 5%, which is to what you just said. Conversion with 5% is high, but for leaving a review after somebody purchased in the fashion or like apparel and fashion industry, it's closer to 18%. And 18%, it's a good benchmark. And what if I said that the conversion rate without any context, 18%, you would say like you're lying. There's no way you can do 18% conversion rate. But if I add people purchaser to reviewers, it's a good conversion rate.
Context is everything. And when we say conversion, this is actually a conversation that I have often with my clients because they want to create content, and then they're kind of fearful of this word copywriting. And I like to kind of approach these things because this is actually where I started my journey, is in understanding the difference between creating whatever you're putting out into the world. And this could be emails, this could be a request for a testimonial, it could be any number of things. Content is something consumed by an audience. Copywriting are words that get people to take action. And that action piece is really important. So when you say conversion copyright, when one says conversion copywriting, people
Mhm.
often think sales. But that's where we get to that hiccup. That's where we get to people not understand that conversion is action. Did
Correct.
people take action on what you're putting out into the world? And you're specialized in email. You
Yes.
started specialized in email,
Yes.
my understanding. So what would you say is one of the most important things to bring to the table when you're putting yourself out there using email, working to scale your business, grow your business, and looking to get people to take action, responding to emails, clicking through, buying potentially? What would be your biggest tip to share?
Sure. So email or email marketing in general, only in US. It can be in other parts of the world, but mostly in US. it's one of the most popular channels where you are able to control the message. There's no there's nobody can steal that message. For example, if you put something on YouTube or on social media, you are competing with others with the free content as well as with the promotional content. In person's inbox, there's no competitions, so you are controlling that narrative. And you, with the copy, with the proper copy, you are telling or you're asking person to take specific action, or you make them curious to learn more, which basically like you telling them, listen, click here to learn more. But you make people curious about something to take action to find out more. And the goal of the email and the copy in the email, as you said, is to take some kind of action, whatever action that is. Sometimes it's reply to email if you want to improve deliverability, or I don't know, like leave a review or submit a survey or make a purchase if it's abandonment cart, for example.
Absolutely. And getting people to take that action is usually associated with a bit of a buildup of incentive in some capacity. Usually there's some sort of transformation promised in it woven within the copywriting that you're using. Um, is there a particular methodology that you ask your teammates to use when you're doing this for your clients?
We like to, I mean, my hypothesis and recommendations for almost for all the brands to have one call to action per email. Yes, you can be uh, your local pharmacy flyer in your email and have like a million of call to actions, hundred of different sales in the what emails, but it's an illusion that more you have, more action people will take. Um, our inboxes are overloaded. I believe a regular person receive close to 100 to 150 emails per day. So you are one of the of many. So sometimes people take few seconds to review your emails, and if you have too many call to actions, person doesn't want to stop, person's brain doesn't want to stop and digest what you have. If it's simple, one call to action, there's more chances person will stop, read it or review your email and do what you're asking them to do. So like simple, short, one call to action. This is a recommendation I have for all businesses.
Yeah, and that's perfect. That's like standard copywriting rules. A confused mind doesn't buy. So if you're going to overload your audience with a bunch of different, well, you could do this and you could do that, and hey, look at over here. Now you're distracting them, confusing them, wondering what the heck am I supposed to do next? Instead of just saying, hey, you know what? Here's a transformative thought. You should totally reply to this email so that we can have a conversation about it.
Yeah,
That's very easy track to follow. Easy to take action on.
easy, but at the same time extremely hard when you're creating that email or you are owner of that business. Because so yesterday I was doing a newsletter for um, non-for-profit organization I'm volunteering for, um, and I was creating email about Cyber Monday because I was asking people. We have Amazon wish list. It's a Ukrainian organization. We help with supporting Ukraine, and so the newsletter was about, hey, go to our Amazon wish list and buy products, and we will ship it on your behalf to Ukraine. And the message was that your dollar cost more today because there's discount on Amazon, so you can buy more with the amount you were planning to donate.
Hmm.
But also on our blog, on our website, we have an article why we have certain items on our Amazon wish list, why we have this or that, and it's explanation. And I'm like, oh, it would be cool to ask them to kind of to buy, but also include this blog post so they can read, understand, and kind of more likely to buy. But later I was debating in my head, should I include it or not? So I end up not including. And that email performed very well, and we generated I cannot name the amount, but it was better than average email in terms of donations.
That's amazing. And I love that. And you're doing this all for your not-for-profit.
Yes.
And
Actually,
go ahead.
we are, so a quick story. So we specializing on e-commerce. So this is kind of our bread and butter, how they say it. It's like 90% of our clients are e-commerce, somebody who sell physical goods online. But after the war, after February 24th, 2022, when wars happened in Ukraine, when Russia invaded Ukraine, I start to volunteer for Ukrainian non-for-profits. And then I realized how under served nonprofit sector is, and I evaluated 10 biggest non-for-profit in US. We are talking about like billion in revenue per year. And from 10, there was only one organization who had pop-up on their website collecting emails. And there's only, I believe, 50% of them had some kind of nurturing series of emails. So, and then I was like, it was aha moment for me. And that's why we start to kind of shifting our focus, like from e-commerce. We do e-commerce only, but also we're trying to serve non-for-profit sector as well now.
That makes a huge difference. And that's a really good lesson. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and argue that you just gave everyone two amazing lessons here. The first being, even an expert in this space is going to have some second guessing and some waffling about what is the best choice for me, for the business I'm serving, with regards to getting people to take action towards the end, right? So how are we going to implement that? I was thinking, as you were talking, I was brainstorming in my own head, what would I do before I got to your conclusion? I thought, well, maybe take out like a section of the blog and highlight maybe the top 3 things that people wonder, why would I be buying this? And this is why. And then put a little blurb about it or something, and then have the call to action not be to read the blog, but to have the understanding that the blog had provided, and then the call to action. I thought, maybe that would be interesting. But your solution was just to omit it, have the call to action, and it yielded amazing results. And I want to say that just proves that there's no right answer. There's what's the best situation for me. The second thing. Okay, I'll go to the second thing after. What's your thought on that? This is good.
Because I will forget probably. Probably the best option, just limited resources was all non-for-profit organization. The best option would be probably to split test and to have a conclusion, and maybe in the future you will know like which way to go. So it was mess on my part, but because we have limited resources in terms of time and talent, so that's why I went that route. Sorry. And you were saying number 2?
No, that's good, because that shows also that we need to work within our means.
Yeah.
A lot of people, actually, I just commented on this. I'm going to make a little note here to make sure I remember. I just commented on a post. I think it was over on Facebook. Somebody said, "Gurus, I want to know how many times a day should we be posting in order to gain the best traction, all this stuff." And I thought, you know what, guys? And there were so many gurus posting about, you need to post 3 to 4 times a day. You need 7 times a day. And I'm thinking, a day, guys, you're telling the masses to post anywhere between 3 and one person said every hour between the hours of like 9 and 5. And I thought, so you're telling the masses to do this without understanding the contextual variables that exist for each individual reading this, taking you for a guru, taking your information as law, and then maybe implementing it, maybe not, but trying to, and then maybe burning out and feeling like they're not good enough because that supposed guru, made a very broad generalization without understanding the resources available to each individual showing up online for their business. Like you said, with these not-for-profits, they're not going to necessarily have the resources available to show up in a certain capacity. That doesn't mean they shouldn't show up. That doesn't mean that there is a best choice for them to create the most effective impact they could make. It just means that you need to be more mindful
Yeah,
about what you have to use within the context of your marketing strategy.
sure.
The next thing, what did you say next? You were saying about, um, it was something about action. So getting people to take action and kind of flipping the script into like, how are you taking action behind the scenes towards creating an effective marketing strategy? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I may have skipped a point without realizing it, but that's okay. I'm going to shift the conversation here. Everybody's going like that. Classic Shauna. So we talk about taking action in marketing, making sure that the other people on the other side of our screen are taking action without necessarily being cognizant of how our actions impact, how our choices and actions and what we put into it impact the reception of that message on the other side. I think we talked about this a little bit because you're very committed to your family. You're very committed to your business, to your not-for-profit, and you need to take care of yourself in order to execute on these plans. Can you tell me about your experience with that? Because I know that you're a very heart-centered person.
Uh, it's an amazing question. And actually, I had a conversation with my wife this morning. Um, how I take care of myself, you said? Well,
Yeah, yeah. Like, I want to hear just a little bit. Yeah, how do you take care of yourself, your life, while organizing all of the different moving pieces and still showing up in the best way possible for your business, for the businesses you serve, because there is a flow state that you need to enter into to do so.
sure. I mean, I think because I'm doing different projects and working in my company, doing non for profit, have a family, have other kind of little bit passive businesses. There's a lot. So it's based on the resources, meaning time. And this based on the time. Since I have to do so much, I just need to value my time differently and kind of I don't have time to procrastinate. It's like, listen, like creativity doesn't comes. Either you switch to different tasks, so you meanwhile you can work on another task, or use some other things that inspires you. Is either uh, go to Pinterest to get some inspiration, or ask ChatGPT to give you a few things. In terms of taking care of myself, what helps me to have scheduled things to take care of myself. For example, the morning gym, but I go to kind of special gym, specialized gym. I don't know how to call it. It's not like gym where you go and you lifting weight. It's a community. It's a group of people where we working out, and it's not only about my physique, but also some communication and be around people. For me, it's extremely important to be around people. So this thing is scheduled on my calendar. Same thing, I have some friends where I'm meeting them every month, particular day for few hours. So for me, since there's a lot of moving pieces in my life, it's easier to kind of to schedule it and put it on the calendar.
That makes a lot of sense. So what I'm hearing you say is really that time is our most valuable resource,
Of
and we
course.
need to use it wisely. Some of the
Yeah.
examples you gave are amazing. So use your time efficiently. If it's not working, if the thing you've tasked yourself with isn't working, move on to a different thing, or use tools that will help you to get the ball rolling. Don't hold prejudices against AI. Go and use it and drive some creative inspiration. And then, of course,
but
scheduling you. Go
But
ahead.
don't get me wrong, because I went to that trap so many times. There is sometimes the best use of your time is to do nothing or take a walk. And yes, it's counterproductive. You think, I mean, in our head, like you do nothing, it's bad. No, but that white space, or that when you walk, or like I don't know, like I don't know, watch some funny videos on YouTube or whatever your gateway is, that time will give you energy or restart you, refresh you to complete that difficult task or creative task. I mean, my best ideas and came or best solutions came when I'm walking, like when I'm walking for 15, 20, 30 minutes. And byproduct is good for your health, walking.
Yeah, I love that. And that is, and I feel like that's something that you can schedule as well. You just schedule that
Yeah.
neutral time. But also, if you are stuck in that space where you're supposed to do this, the tools aren't working, your task switch isn't working, and you're like, I'm just too much. I'm all up in here and I can't seem to ground myself. I think that's a really important strategy that you just shared with the world, is just do nothing. It sounds counterintuitive, you're right, but it works. For me, my quote unquote do nothing is like you, go for a walk, be with nature, touch the earth. I garden, I get dirty, or I draw or paint. I get creative in a way that I don't need to think, I just do. And it makes a huge difference, because what people think, actually, I have a sweater that was sent to me anonymously. I have no idea who sent it to me, but it's an Elise Myers branded sweater, and it says rest is productive. And what that says, what that indicates, that nothing time is your time to reset, so that then when you get to it again, you can be far more productive than you ever were before, when you were spinning all up in your head. That's profound. That's really
Yeah.
good piece of advice on how
Indeed.
this is the two sides of action taking in marketing. The action taking when you're actually thinking tactically. We want to get our clients to take action. We want them to click on our emails, read our blogs, peruse our website, buy our offer, because remember that action looks very different depending on your goal, depending on your purpose of what you're putting out into the world. But then also, how do I get myself to take action on implementing these marketing strategies? Those are the two sides of that action coin. And I love that you were able to share all that with us. Now, I'm going to ask you if there are any final thoughts that you wanted to share with our audience that you think will really drive the point home and get people taking meaningful action in their marketing and in their day-to-day to make an impact on this world.
Whatever you have ready today, post it, share it, send out newsletter about this. Don't don't hold back and don't wait for that perfect moment or the perfect version of whatever you're creating, because anything that you have right now is already good for the world, and you can improve with the next version, or you can, if it's a blog post, you can revise it in the future. But having it live today can impact somebody's life. When you're holding it back, it's bad actually for you and the world, because you kind of keeping it from impacting people's life.
That's amazing. And let people know where they can get in touch with you if they want to learn more about you and your business.
Sure, you can go to flowium.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn.
That's awesome. And this is actually really amazing. That your last words, because I just want to let everybody know, I've said it once, I'll say it again, and you will hear me say it more and more and more times. There is no such thing as perfect. So post the dang thing. Press send, go live, show up, make your impact that you were meant to make. Andriy, I wanted to thank you very much for joining us today and having a really good, candid conversation about what it means to show up, take action, and inspire action for the people in your world. Thank you so much. To the rest of you, please join us, follow, subscribe, because there are more conversations just like this happening again this week, in fact, next week again, and every week here on after. So say hi, join the conversation.